Welcome back to the Tiga Tactics podcast, show about self-defense for civilians by civilians. We discuss all things personal protection, including martial arts, combat sports, and street combatives. Our resident MANs, martial arts nerds, include co-founder of Tiga Tactics and holder of black belts in 9 different styles, Dr. Conrad Bui.
Hello, everyone.
We are missing Patrick, as has been the case, but we have another special guest. Dr. Scott Sobel is back joining us.
Hello.
Yay.
And we have myself, retired Army Special Forces soldier and champion obstacle course racing athlete Evan Ultra-OCR man Perperis. We are actually recording this the weekend of Tiga Tactics Toolset Training Tour in, what state are we in? New Hampshire. New Hampshire. I was about to say Maryland because Scott was here.
Throwing
but,
you off, sorry.
Yeah. Before we get to this episode, quick word from this episode's sponsor. This is brought to you by Vulpus Training. Scott, you recently got to use Vulpus Training as part of our filming some content. What'd you think?
I am so impressed with their products. The realism, the weight, just the structural integrity. I feel like if you buy these products, they will probably outlive you. Make plans on who you're going to will them to because they seem indestructible. Very impressed.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, check out vulpustraining.com. I'll drop a link down below. Today, we're going to be talking about when is it okay to quit martial arts? Right? So, I mean, we're all on our personal journey, and everyone enters martial arts for a different reason. I feel like Conrad's going to have a very short answer. Conrad, when is it okay to quit martial arts?
You know my answer. Never. Come on.
Seriously, though, like, let's talk about when it's okay to quit, right? So, there's some people who are like, well, you can't quit before you get a black belt. But then there's some people who are coming into martial arts just for a little bit of self-confidence. Some of them are coming in for self-protection reasons. And we know from the methodology we teach, I don't need to be a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt to be able to defend myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, I don't do everything I did growing up. Like, I don't play soccer anymore. Like, I quit that at some point. I was a Boy Scout, and I did it, quote unquote, age out. But at some point, I technically did quit because I didn't go back as like an adult leader. So give me some initial thoughts, Scott, about quitting martial arts.
Well,
you're a school owner.
I used to joke around. I used to teach a 6 o'clock in the morning class. So when someone would ask me how long I've been doing martial arts, I'd say a week because every Monday morning at 6 a.m. I would quit martial arts. And then I would drag myself to class and felt great afterwards and was glad I was still doing it. I think you do it until there's no longer a benefit and you're no longer getting anything out of it. And to Conrad's point, I can't imagine when that would be. If your goal is only to get to a black belt, that's one small part of the benefit of the art. So if your goal was just to get to a black belt and you're done, you weren't really in the martial arts to start with, so you weren't really quitting. You were just a spectator. You were just kind of tourist passing through it. It's a lifelong pursuit. When does it stop contributing to your health, your flexibility, your well-being, your ability to defend yourself, your physical fitness? I don't ever see those benefits running out.
Conrad, anything to add here?
Definitely agree with Sensei Guru Scott here. I get it. To me, I just don't get it, but I get it because I do see people quit, my own students at the gym and everything. And at first it really bugged me. Like, what's wrong with these people? How could you possibly quit? And I get it. Everyone's got their own journey. Maybe this was just a part of their journey and they didn't see the benefits that I see, or somehow it just didn't resonate with them. And that's okay. Everyone's got their own journey. I really needed to take a step back and just let it go. It used to bug me quite a bit. What are your initial thoughts, Evan?
I think everyone's on their own personal journey, and I think sometimes we're too quick to assign quitter to someone, right? Like, blue belt comes into jiu-jitsu, gets his blue belt, right? There's this common joke that once you get the blue belt,
right,
those people just disappear. Like, you never see them again.
The blue belt blues.
The blue belt blues, right? But maybe was their whole goal, just to make it to blue belt. And family life, moving locations, new job. Maybe they have other things that have now taken priority. As someone who has moved around a bunch, I've essentially, you could say I've quit several martial arts, right? Because I started with karate, I moved out of Kansas City, and I continue to do it kind of remotely / traveling back and forth to Kansas City for about 2 years. But then again, after I got my black belt, I essentially quit karate because it was that last
But
year.
you were doing other arts.
I was doing other arts. I was doing Jeet Kune Do. I was doing
Yeah.
Kali. I was doing
Right.
Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And then when I moved out of Kansas, you could say I quit Kali and Jeet Kune Do, even though I still kind of teach my
But
the
then you were
kids.
still
And
doing,
train it and
but
teach.
you were still doing something else, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
There's an interesting distinction. Someone once pointed out to me that there are martial artists and there are people who do martial arts.
I
And
like
people
that.
who do martial arts might quit and they just don't do martial arts anymore. But a martial artist, that's what you are. That's your identity. It's in your DNA. It's in your blood. How do you stop? You might as well stop breathing. You might as well stop eating. You just can't.
Mhm.
You may modify what you do.
Okay.
There may be a time where I don't want to do a jump spinning head kick. That time may have already come and gone, in fact. But
It hasn't. For the record, it hasn't.
But will you modify what you do? Maybe Conrad and I were talking before. Maybe you do more weapons work. Maybe you transition from all right, less MMA, more flowy jujitsu. Maybe I can't take the judo falls. Maybe I do some aikido. It's a little softer. Maybe I just do some tai chi, or I just do katas, or I just do. But I can't picture a time in my life where I'm not doing something.
I like that distinction about there are people who do martial arts and then there's a martial artist.
Mhm.
I think that's pretty profound. Again, it being part of like a lifelong pursuit, and even though the art may change, you're still involved on some way, shape, or form of growing as a person through
Yeah.
some level, right? Because I mean, I write about martial arts. I do martial arts. I think about martial arts. I consume martial arts content.
Absolutely.
There's it's multifaceted, and I think sometimes our scope is too narrow on how we kind of define things.
Right, and to both your points, I believe there's a martial arts for everyone. Uh, yeah, if you have knee issues, well, you could do some slow tai chi, or even tai chi in a chair, or silat in a chair. If you're really gung ho, there's martial arts for that as well too. So, th- there, to me, anyways, that I believe there's always something there for every stage of my life, basically.
Interesting. Yeah, I think some very good points here. I think what else? What else? Give me some other thoughts, Scott. You're a lifelong martial artist who's got so many systems under your belt.
I have friends who have had schools or have been instructors in systems who, got married, had kids, or doing something else and just stopped. And it's just such I scratch my head. I can't make sense of how you go. But I get if you weren't that into it, if it was a hobby, if it was I do martial arts on Tuesdays and Thursdays because I like having something to do versus the lifetime pursuit. I mean, maybe one day I'll hit a point where I've mastered everything in all the arts and I've accomplished everything I'm looking for.
Was that yesterday?
No, coming. I'm hoping by after tomorrow's class to get the rest of it in. And maybe that, but I can't imagine that, the well just seems bottomless. I don't ever see hitting a point where I go, well, I know all of this. There's nothing else to learn. No more room to grow.
I love the bottomless well, and at the same time, as someone, I have like an obsession with completing things. Like I like, so it part of it like bothers me, and the other part's like, oh, this is fun. Sometimes I like finishing a certain amount of things and then moving on to the next thing, to keep things fresh. But it's still, though I'm going between different martial arts, I'm still learning and growing and enjoying the process. And even some of the systems, I feel like I've gotten what I quote unquote wanted from them. I still kind of pick up nuggets every now and then, whether it be consuming content online or even doing jujitsu and then coming in like, oh, this is a trapping drill from Jeet Kune Do or Wing Chun that I'm now using on the ground,
Right.
Or sometimes to counter takedown stances while I'm standing and the person's sitting down, my feet look like the pigeon toe stance from Wing Chun, right? Like my knees are in, I'm like preventing that movement, and I love seeing when arts cross boundaries, like especially when it's an art that the current art you're in sometimes like naysays the other art, and you're like, this is this is literally from a different art. We're using it in just a slightly different manner. It's the same movement, the same body movement.
I can picture a point in my life where I've had 100,000 tacos and I'm 80, and I go, I just can't eat another taco. I don't want to see another taco, but I'm not going to stop eating. There's still other stuff to eat. So, maybe you hit a point where you've gotten all you can out of a certain system, but not all the martial arts. There's so much out there. Maybe a different school, different instructor. I don't see just ever being bored or so broken or so injured that I can't find some way to participate in it.
And to me, like when my students quit, I just tell myself, and I know it's sometimes a complete lie. They're just taking a break, and it's all. They'll be back. Maybe next month, next year, maybe when they're 90. And it's okay to take a break. Sometimes you might get burned out or some life changes happen.
I've had students who've shown up after a few years of hiatus. That people who've disappeared, had their kids are back in school. I've had students who were kids who were in high school who are now married, have their kids are growing up, and now they've come back in because they're. So, it does happen.
Sure.
Not all the time.
That's what I tell myself.
I'm still waiting. Maybe it does happen all the time. I just haven't waited long enough. Maybe they're all coming back.
Yes, they all are.
I'll save them a spot.
Scott, how do you deal with students quitting? Like, do you take it personally, or you've been a school owner for a while?
I used to teach out at our chiropractic school, and the person I ran the club with, a very wise martial arts instructor, once told me, because we'd have a lot of students in the beginning, and then by the time finals rolled around, we'd have like 5 people. We'd go from like 40 students in the class down to like 5. And I'm like, Conrad was the other instructor, by the way. And I'm like, all right, I get maybe they didn't like my stuff, but Conrad's got all this great stuff. And the very sage Dr. Bui said to me, he said, you can't make them love it like you love it. So I don't take it personally. They just don't have the passion for it like I do. That's a different path for them. So after that, I didn't take it personally anymore.
Yeah, I have a couple of kids I train, so I don't run a school. But I've had people sign up for my Patreon, stick around for a couple of months, and then take off. People that I'm like, oh, this guy's, we got 3 levels in Western Piper, and he's on level 1. Obviously, you're gonna do 2 and 3, and then they just stop. Or like they've done all the requirements to test for level 2, and then they just disappear. And I'm like, wait, where'd you guys go? Like, you're ready to test. Why are you leaving?
Brown belts disappear. I'm like, you're so close. You're so close to a black belt. Yeah. Why would you? Why were you? But
I think if you're feeling insecure, you can definitely take it personally because you're like, maybe I wasn't a good enough teacher. But like, I don't know. Everyone's an adult. Everyone makes their own choices. I don't take it personally. I've had kids quit from my little martial arts school program. My 10 kids I teach. 2 of them never came back, and then two or 3 of them came back. They quit and then they came back. So they took a couple weeks off, came back. Basically, they started so weird. Like when I give all these kids nunchucks, and now they want nunchucks too. I'm like, hey, you're missing out. And then, occasionally some of the kids like try to attack me. I'm like, if you want to fight, like,
you gotta come back to class. Right?
You gotta come back to class. We can fight every day. Like, I literally have organized fight time where you can come fight me. Don't attack me at this point, So I try to give the kids that are training with me quote unquote special perks that because like anything in life, the good things often require persistence, dedication, and suffering to get anything good. And if you think life is just going to be like, here's a bunch of good stuff, you're just going to be perpetually disappointed because everything I've done that's worth something required a fair amount of suffering.
Yeah, and how Guru Scott said, I'm the wise person that said not everyone's going to love it. Like, I still take it personally only because I just see the potential in them, and I just see like, oh my gosh, what a valuable thing you're stopping to do. And I feel sorry for them because, yeah, exactly.
I don't take it personally.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's me. I feel bad that they're missing out.
Right. Yeah. And I guess in a way that's personal to me. I just feel bad for them. It's almost like, people should exercise, and let's say they just stop exercising, and you're thinking, oh man, come on, do something. So I feel that way when people stop martial arts.
I had a friend. It's probably safe to tell the story because he's not a martial artist, so he's probably not listening to the podcast.
He's
But
someone who did. He's someone who did martial arts.
no, no.
Oh no.
So I think we're safe. I think I won't say his name anyway. But he was having trouble meeting women, and so I'm like, we'll go to the gym, we'll start working out, we'll start training, we'll get you in shape. Yeah, old beat up car, and I'm like, you're doing well. You should go out, buy himself a new car. He got fit, and met a girl, and then stopped working out and stuff. That was it. That was the goal. As soon as he met that goal, and it was done. And so once they get whatever they were setting out to get, they're done with the. So I feel bad because he could still be exercising, he could still be, but he got whatever he needed out of that, and that was it. So I guess sometimes we think what we assume is a lifetime pursuit. Other people are going, I just want to lose time. I want to look good on the beach this summer, and
Yeah, I think sometimes you project your own values or your own beliefs or your own mindset onto other people. I know, especially, I spent large amount of my career in the special operations community, and at some point, I remember being like, "Oh, not everyone thinks like this. That is weird." Like the mindset of like, oh, well, everything that happens to you is kind of like your fault, and you got to persist and suffer through things and like power through things, and like I can't use the phrase here. So I'm trying to be clean on my language. Like, don't be a you use B word or P word insert there. I'm like, that's the way everyone thinks, because like everyone who I worked with, that's the way they all thought, and that's the way they all behaved. And then at some point, like I left that bubble, and I was like, oh, that's weird. So sometimes we can kind of get into our own insular bubbles, and especially if you're like in Facebook groups of martial artists, and things get very kind of closed minded, and you start hearing the echo chamber of.
Well, I think anyone who pursues a lifetime in anything is weird to most people.
Yes.
I look at what you do and the racing stuff, and I think that's what happens to you if you lead a bad life. That's your afterlife punishment. I see myself running 50 miles through obstacles as my eternal reward for misspent youth or something.
To be fair, I retired a year ago, so I only did it for a little over 11 years.
Right. So I've had friends who are runners who have tried to get me to run, and I've done, and I'm like, I think it's, the whole runner's high is just an inside joke. Runners tell non-runners to make them run. I assume there's this whole, so I'm sure I've hurt the feelings of some of my friends who are runners going, well, he seems fit. He seems like he would like this running stuff. Not for me. So maybe it's just not for everybody. But, but if I woke up and the first time out, I placed high in a marathon, you go, wow, he's got potential. Maybe he should look into this. Maybe he should. So I get if you do something and it's not for you. But if I was running, I finally got to do a marathon and did well, and then just went, all right, I'm done. That's weird to me.
Okay.
That if you put in that kind of work and discipline and then you don't follow through afterwards, then that would be weird. If you try it one, if you quit on your introductory week in martial arts, I get that. No hard feelings. That wasn't for you. But again, after like a couple years or a decade or after having your own school and then people quit, that's a mystery to me. I don't understand it at all.
The one thing I found frustrating was, when I started at a new school, we'd have new people come in, and I always like go out of my way to be friendly and like help them out and teach them basic techniques. And a lot of times that was at the detriment of my own training. Or like, I can't train with the higher students right now because I'm working with a beginner and I'm trying to be helpful and trying to be nice, trying to welcome someone new into the fold. And then after like months of like that happening, and then like them quitting a month later, at some point I was like, I'm not like, I started getting fed up. I was like, there was a running joke at my last gym where like, I don't learn your name until you've been there for at least 6 months. And it's kind of a joke, but it was
I had the same thing in my school.
It was true, and it's not because I was like purposely not learning your name. I just like,
it used to be until you were in Aikido. It was like a third kyu, so it'd be like a blue belt, intermediate rank. Because if you're not going to stick around, why am I investing
why am I
in you? Why am I going to invest?
But at the
in
same
you?
problem, if I approach that from the beginning, I'm not investing in you because I don't think you're going to stick around. Then maybe I'm
the cause.
I'm the cause of you not sticking around. So
I've changed that now. I know everybody's name, and that from the beginning.
It wasn't my school, so I didn't.
Yeah, when it was like that, it was different.
When
I was a high rank instructor at someone else's school. Now it's my own school. I know everybody's name.
Yeah. What else? Any other thoughts, Conrad?
No, my only thought is please don't quit and make me worry about you.
Never quit.
Never quit.
Never quit.
All right, let's start wrapping it up. Final shout outs we need to give. Upcoming events.
All right. So upcoming event, we do have a Surete International Conference in Fort Mill, South Carolina, June 25th, 26th, 27th, and 28th. Both myself and Guru Scott Sobel will be there hanging out. It's huge. I mean, lots of participants, lots of different arts and everything like that presented.
Good time, good people.
Yeah, and good people, and they're open to every art from Japanese arts, Chinese arts, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Hopefully we'll have Aikido there in the future as well too. I've been talking to the promoter of the event, but we'll have Silat as well too. Just a whole buffet of martial arts. So join us for that. We also have Tiga Tactics coming up in July 18th and 19th, and Evan will be there in San Francisco. So all the San Francisco peeps are looking forward to hanging out with Evan.
My first time with the San Francisco Tiga Tactics.
Yep. They're all looking forward to you. August 1st is Dragon Fest.
Yes.
Woohoo.
Scott, are you coming to Dragon Fest this year?
I'm trying to get
I have another martial arts seminar, black belt testing that I have to conduct. Unfortunately.
Yeah, you can't get your nerd on. Sorry.
Next year, I will plan ahead. I will plan ahead for next year.
All right. Okay. And
I'm very jealous when I see the photos of you guys. So.
It's a lot of fun. If you
like
this is right up your alley.
Oh yeah,
Scott.
no,
this is
absolutely.
This is martial arts pre 1993.
1993. Grappling, never heard of it.
Right?
Yeah. No, everyone ignores Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, MMA. That never happened.
The running joke last year was we had all of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu knowledge in the entire room at our table.
At one time.
Because it was like a couple of the BJJ guys came over to hang out with us,
Yeah.
and it was like, I'm pretty sure no one else in the room knows a single thing. It was pretty funny. But it's a good group. It's a lot of fun. You get to meet some stars from the
stars.
martial arts stars. I use that term very loosely.
Yeah, okay, good.
in our world.
In our world, yeah.
Big stars in our world.
Yeah. It's just a lot of fun.
It is.
Yeah.
Get your nerd on.
Comic-Con for martial artists.
I'm going to be dressing up again this year.
Very nice. For me, let's see, big things I have coming up. Western Piper Methods Level 3 book is coming out, should be by the end of June, so I'll have that available. We just finished up on my Patreon teaching Medusa, and we are going to restart Western Piper Methods Level 1 in August. So if you want to learn Western Piper Methods, jump in prior to August, and you can start training that with me online. I recently got promoted to instructor.
Woohoo!
Yeah, exciting.
Yeah, and I think I've been through level 1 twice already. This will be my third time, and I'll still jump in. I thought these knife systems were weird. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. I'm getting the hang of it.
Let's see, and then me and Phil Elmore are continuing our Urban Warlord system. I think our end of the month we are doing, to end of June, I don't have a date yet, probably around the 29th of June, we're doing a offensive pencil, or using a pencil for offense. So I'm sure there'll be some John Wicky
of course.
advertisements leading up to that.
Right.
But definitely we'll have some Tiga Tactics stuff inspired in there, and some Western Piper Method stuff inspired in there. And then playing around, I specifically bought, obviously I need to buy more tools. I specifically bought tools, so I had something specific to talk about at the webinar, and I'm going to test some of them out on my Bob. So if you want to get the results, you got to come to the webinar, and that'll be level 3, essentially the third part of our Urban Warlord system, and then we'll have one more webinar after that. So go check it out, http://urbanwarlord.com, and you can get all of the good stuff.
Very nice.
Cool.
Okay. We will see all you guys hopefully in person in San Francisco or in person at Dragon Fest. And keep training. Don't
Never quit.
Never.
Yeah, don't quit. See you later.